I want you to get that you need to take care of you so you can take care of other people. I want you to take care of you so you can be a gift to your family. I want you to not be one of those people that stumbles around in life. I want you to be one of the people that says there is a consequence to every behavior. So when I choose the behavior, I realize I choose the consequence. If you think you're damaged in some way, you're going to generate results that second class people should have. If you look at people that are really successful in business or really happy in their marriage and family, and you say secretly, well, that's for them, that's not for me, I don't really deserve that, then you'll never generate that. If you have a damaged personal truth, you will generate a lifestyle, a standard of living, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, socially, that goes along with being damaged. Probably going to think that maybe I'm a pessimist or maybe I'm a little paranoid. The truth of the matter is, I'm not. I'm actually an incurable optimist, but I'm an optimist because I think we can prepare for anything. We always hear that life is a game, and I agree with that. Life is a game, and you may think, oh boy, it's not. You get a terminal disease or something, that's not a game. Yeah, it is. You have to be a player. Games aren't always funny, they're not always frivolous, they're not always for trivial stakes. Sometimes a game has stakes that are life or death, but they're still a game. In the game of life, I just have the belief that you're either gonna be a player or you're going to be played. And my problem is if you're like me and you were raised by the kind of parents that I was raised by and came up through the educational system that I came up through, you were taught how the world should work, not how the world does work. Now, think about the difference. You were taught how the world should work. If you work hard, you're going to get your just rewards. And that on the playground, you always heard cheaters never win and winners never cheat. Well, let me tell you, that is exactly where that belongs, is on a playground with children. Because if you think cheaters never win, wake up. Cheaters do win, and winners do cheat. Lance Armstrong. I mean, come on, wake up. That is just simply a myth. So I was taught how the world was supposed to work, how the world should work. And then I got out there in the real world and found out how it did work. And it was a whole lot different than what I was taught. And here's the truth of the matter: your life, just like my life, is full of bad people. Bad people. There's also a lot of good people in it, don't get me wrong, but it's full of bad people. And most of us, and I was guilty of this for a period of time, most of us are stagnant. We're unwilling to take the initiative to get bad people out of our lives. We let days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months turn into years, and we just let those bad people stay in our lives. They have bad karma. They don't wish us well. They don't want us to succeed. They're jealous if we do. They drag us down, suck us dry. They try to take what's ours and use it for their own benefit. They lie, cheat, steal, talk behind our back, gossip about us, sabotage us. They're two faced. They betray us. We all have those kind of people in our lives because they hide in plain sight. They're just everywhere. You've got them in every category of your life, and I'm gonna be asking you about that. I'm gonna ask you to categorize your life: work, home, family, recreation, church, wherever, and just see if you can identify where these people are. What I wanna do today is I wanna talk to you about how to spot them and how to defeat them. Knowledge is power, and I intend to give you plenty of both today. Plenty of knowledge and plenty of power. That equips you to live in the world as it is, not as how it should be. So, look, here's the deal. If you think this world is all hunky dory, let me tell you, It's not. It's estimated right now that we have over 5,000 active cults operating in America, for example. It is estimated by the Federal Trade Commission that over half of the phone calls you receive in your life this year are going to be scams. Now, think about what I just said. One out of every two phone calls you get are going to be based on somebody trying to take what is yours. They're calling you to rob you. They're calling you to trick you, scam you, cheat you out of your money. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it preys upon the unsuspected, the uninformed. It preys upon the immigrant communities because they're new to America and they don't know the system, they don't know the laws. But it's not just the immigrant community, it preys upon those that are unsuspected and they're uninformed. Now, I can tell you one of the things that I've done with the 2 boys that Robin and I have raised, Jay and Jordan, is I started out in the very beginning and I said, "Boys, one thing I wanna teach you is to always be situationally aware." Situationally aware. You walk into a restaurant and by the way, I didn't raise my boys to be paranoid, to see the world as a scary place that they should shy away from. Both of my boys are very outgoing, they're very engaging, but they have confidence because they have awareness, because they go in wide-eyed open at what can go wrong. But I always taught them about situational awareness. Even if they just go into a restaurant, I always taught them, as soon as you walk in the door, scan the room and find the most unstable person, the most dangerous person in the room, and keep an eye on them. Look for the exits in a room. Look for what can go wrong in a situation, and then go on about your business. Enjoy your dinner, enjoy your evening, whatever you're doing, but be situationally aware. And you think, "Wait, what are you trying to raise a couple of James Bonds here?" Well, yeah, sorta, because I want them to be aware of what's going on. How about you? Do you get up in the morning and just kinda stumble around? Or are you situationally aware? I love life, but not everything in it. I love people, but not all of them. Hell, I love myself, but not everything about me. Nothing is all one way or another. And there is power in having a crystal clear view of reality. So, yes, I do want you to be situationally aware. I do want you to pay attention. Now, I gave you the example of being situationally aware when you come into a room. That's environmentally. Are you situationally aware about the people in your life? Do you know who in your life is not a fan? Do you know who in your life is your enemy? Do you know who in your life is trying to exploit you, stab you in the back, hurt you in some way? And trust me, when you know that, you can be prepared and you are a whole lot less apt to become a victim. Now, let me tell you the number one tool of muggers, for example, and I've interviewed a lot of muggers. You know what their number one tool is? Surprise. They tell me that they'll walk up to somebody on the street at night, and the first thing they say is something like, "Hey, what time do you have?" And because we're unsuspecting, and because we're polite, and because we're courteous, what's the first thing you do when somebody says, "Hey, what time do you have?" The first thing you do is you lift up your left wrist and you look down. Okay, so now you've taken your eyes off the person in front of you, put your head down, and put your hand in a position that's hard to defend yourself. And in that second, they strike. And the muggers tell me 2 things. Number 1, they've now incapacitated the person because they've gotten them to take their eye off the ball. And they say then they've got about a 5-second window when the person is in denial. They say they're in denial about what's happening. "Oh my god, I'm getting mugged here. Somebody just hit me in the head. Somebody just knocked me up beside the head." And it takes them that long to realize, "Oh my god, I'm being mugged." And in that time, they're able to get the advantage. They rely on our denial, our unwillingness to accept that something bad can and is happening to them. That's what I'm trying to say to you right now, to not let happen to you. I'm talking about crystal clarity when you're viewing reality and situational awareness about the people around you and your environment. I want you to be street smart. Think about these people in your life. I'm going to give you a name for them. They're called baiters. Baiters. Baiter. Baiter. B stands for backstabber. A stands for abuser. I stands for imposter. T stands for taker. E stands for exploiter. And R stands for reckless. Baiter. That's a new word. That's a new term I want you to put in your vocabulary because I want you to find the baiters in your life. And let me tell you how I came up with this. The goal in psychology is to differentiate one pathology from another. So we want to differentiate depression from anxiety. We want to differentiate an antisocial personality from a borderline personality. We want to differentiate those. You know why? Because insurance companies require us to differentiate them, so we have a code we can write down so we can bill. You gotta write down a code, and then you send it in, and they pay you money for that, so we gotta put people in pigeonholes. But the truth is those are false boundary lines.